The origin of Innovative Weather came about through a process of my own thinking, which was the idea that students were really interested in operational forecasting. Once I had tenure, I was able to start thinking about that some more. As it happened, our first operations director, Mike Westendorf, was transitioning through one of his jobs that he had, and we'd been sort of spitballing ideas about how to do this.
And Paul and I had talked about this idea that so many of our students, they want a meteorological education, they typically have to have part-time jobs, and most weather jobs required 1 to 2 years of experience. Well, how are you going to get that? And so what if you could combine all of those into a paid weather internship that would allow students to be able to get all 3 of those things?
So we came up with a plan, and I call it the half-baked plan, because I presented it to our then Dean of Letters and Science, and he said, that's a great idea, we should be doing more of this kind of thing at the university. Now how are you going to pay for it? And so we came to a bit of a compromise where I would try to go out and get some paying clients, and as long as we met certain milestones, not having to pay for everything, but just a fraction of what the cost was, he thought it was definitely worthwhile to do that.
I had another contact. We went back to We Energies with a little different conversation, and also the support of the university from Dean Richard Meadows. And that conversation actually started the whole thing. Dave Megna and John Morose and a few others at We Energies said, we're willing to give you a 6-month trial paid. That was enough for the university to say, okay, let's give this a shot.
So our first partner was We Energies. And they've stayed with us right to the very end of this program, which is fantastic.
You know, I remember when we first met, and it was you, me, Paul, and probably John Morose. And, you know, Paul saying, yeah, we can do a better job than that. And, you know, that I remember that day, and you did, personalizing that service and getting us through those times where we had storms coming down and people calling and me calling and, you know, like I said, making people nervous, which I enjoyed doing. It was great.
They were willing to try us out. And like a lot of our initial partners, they kind of did us on a trial basis where they kept other providers at the same time, and they wanted to see how well we would work out. And we proved that we could do this job and do it really well. And so they kept us on. And we started adding over the years, and that's how we kind of went forward.
College students get a better experience, but they got a more customized forecast. And so we were trying to find a way to create value for the university, for the student, for the partner, and for the community. And we needed people to step up and do it, and they did.
Innovative Weather was all about the service to partners, and we wanted to make sure that they really understood what the forecast risk was for them. So it was really providing them with assurance about what the risk was. And so this is quite different from what most providers give. And it's a high-level service, which also was kind of an impediment for us financially, but it was good for our students at the same time because they really got to understand how to do this kind of thing and do it really well.
It was an easy leap. University has a great reputation, being able to help students at the same time, learn their trade in weather forecasting, being able to assist with that educational piece, but also provide a valuable resource to the district. It was a no-brainer. It was a win-win for everyone.
There was 2 words that always, probability, possibility, right? Exactly. So there was always that discussion of possibility, probability. I think the biggest thing that I could say, Mike, is it was always refreshing and almost a little bit of a sense of relief to know that your staff was seeing similar things that we were seeing, and it was providing an interpretation to us as the groundskeepers there and as the stadium as a whole to really impact what our decision making was.
as time went on, I think I came to ultimately trust the product I was getting from Innovative Weather more than I trusted some of the things that I was doing, because it's certainly, while it's something I understand and can do myself, it's not my primary area of expertise. And so as we worked together and everybody kind of understood that, look, if I'm going to take this, if you guys are going to be taken seriously here, you need to be, let's fine tune these decisions. Let's be part of the process. So I would say the last 6 or 7 years, we used you folks as Innovative as a primary decision, part of the primary go, no go decision process. And I would argue that if you compare the product that came out of Innovative Weather against some of the stuff that's more general that comes out of the National Weather Service, we were able to get quite a few more crossings in, for-profit crossings in, as a result of having a more customized and finely tuned weather forecasting program through Innovative Weather. So I would say we made quite a bit of money, as a result of having that relationship.
The close relationship, as well as for me, the part of it being part of our community, meant so much to us that you're here. It's, I still feel connected to students, not that feels like not that long ago I was a student. So I love that. Let's get students involved in real world stuff. Being able to talk about things in our community that we're working on and actually means something to the people that are around here. That all was just, again, a great relationship, as well as a good feeling being all of us part of working on finding solutions together.
We weren't sure what we were getting into. So it was that partnership and agreeing on, this is what we need. This is the forecasting. This is how we'd like it to look. And so we had a say in how we were going to get the information from Innovative Weather. And that was, so we got what we wanted, you got what you wanted. And it was like, like I said before, it was a partnership.
Innovative Weather has been such an important part of the university fulfilling its mission, because we're first and foremost about student success. And I think about not just what the students learned and the challenges to bring an interdisciplinary program focus together, but if you think about the importance of weather, the impact on so many different things in our lives, the careers that have been enhanced, and the organizational impact when we think about as a community partner, whether it's the climatologists, whether it's individuals who are in weather bureaus, weather stations, all the different fulfillment in so many different ways. That's a tangible outcome.
And from my perspective, again, I always felt that it was really important that this operation be about the students and that they learn from this. It's true experiential learning. And if we were not able to provide that in the context in which we operate, we didn't want to do it. It just didn't make sense for us to do it. So that's kind of how we've always operated.
The constant excitement and commitment. We give, and we just saw this today, we give the students space to talk about something and they get so excited. And I don't have the outside perspective that much of working in a place where people are there for the paycheck and for the job, because everybody here is for the enjoyment, the excitement of what we can do, the impact we have, the opportunity just to be here. And I think I'm extremely grateful for that excitement.
It was really good being able to interact with your staff, with your students. There's always a lot to be said for precision and awesomeness and accuracy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if we don't take time out to teach a little bit and to educate myself, your staff educated me, and I think we educated right back to the department. And I think it was just a really great partnership in my time.
It certainly would be intimidating because, there's a lot of responsibility, and they knew based on what we were doing and why we were doing it, with what we were planning. And I think you and Paul gave them a pretty good idea of what they were getting into and the responsibility that they had to our company and to our customers. I think that's just a great experience that they had that opportunity to train in that environment, because it was realistic.
But I will say the experience that I gained while working there has been invaluable. It really gave me a inside track to the position I'm in right now.
Innovative Weather is when I went from being a naive and kind of unprofessional college kid to a full-fledged young professional that had some better idea of how to navigate life in the business world.
Maturing, both personally and professionally, at an age and in a way that I couldn't have done elsewhere. Having difficult conversations and admitting when I messed up. Those are things that I don't see how I could have learned anywhere else, and things that have helped me throughout my professional career.
That first group of students, Paul and I pitched the idea to them, juniors, seniors, and graduate students, and their willingness to take this crazy ride and give this a shot, spin it up from nothing, but the promise of, if this works, you guys are going to have a great story. Their commitment, their enthusiasm, we learned it together.
There was a tremendous amount of responsibility in being part of this first staff for me. I felt honored and thrilled that I was being trusted with such a big role, and to be able to deliver these forecasts to real life customers.
You guys took a group of students who had zero experience, and you gave us real life scenarios and big companies to work with, and it was scary and it was hard, and we didn't think that we could do it, and you guys believed in us, and by the end of it, we believed in ourselves too.
Innovative Weather impacted my life by essentially allowing me to get the job that I got and still have. The warning experience and the experience with interacting with different companies is the exact experience that gave me a leg up on all the other applicants who applied.
I had the fortunate opportunity of being the first Innovative Weather graduate to get employed by the National Weather Service. And I know that I wouldn't have gotten into this agency had I not had that experience.
I mean, I can't even begin to explain, the experience that Innovative brought me. And when I got hired here at the New Orleans NWS, my meteorologist in charge, my boss, he even told me that a huge reason of why I got hired is because I already had operational experience because I worked at Innovative.
Just all the skills that I learned while at Innovative Weather really helped me grow my career and put me where I am today.
It allowed me to build my resume, build that career, build my business to business consulting background, and
working at Innovative Weather will have direct impact on my life. I don't know if I would have my job if it weren't for Innovative Weather and the values that I learned there.
So really building those relationships with people was something that we did, with We Energies and with the Lake Express ferry, and that's the same kind of stuff that you have to do to be successful in the National Weather Service. So
the opportunities that I've had as a result of Innovative Weather is still happening. It's still occurring. I wouldn't be where I am today in terms of where I'm employed at the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities and living in the state that I've grown to love and call home now.
Innovative Weather was foundational into who I am as a person today. It actually made me realize my path wasn't weather necessarily, but more the mentorship that I took on at IW made me realize I love to teach.
Learning how to work within a stressful environment in managing updates at very awkward times. But then not just that, but then it was also learning how to lean on your coworkers and your teammates in those stressful situations.
Fun story, man, just getting the office set up and all the things that we found in the building as we were cleaning it up.
from those humble origin days of finding a cluttered room in an alumni house, searching through the basement for any tattered, scrappy furniture that we could find.
Does anybody remember when the alumni house got struck by lightning and the window got blown out? Because I do.
I don't know how long you guys did interviews with Ely Radio.
The random conversations with Boundary Water Radios with Mike and Mary, those are always interesting and fun.
I will pick Boundary Waters Radio. Doing forecasts for, I think it was Mike. I think he was the guy. Those were interesting. It was not very formal. It was the complete opposite from UWM.
Ely Radio. I don't know why we did that. Mike, why did we do that? That's a good question.
I mean, looking back, it's certainly funny, but at the time I was definitely scared out of my mind. 5 a.m, sleepy, the sun's coming up, and at the alumni house, and the turkey's right out back and immediately behind the window, just as loud as can be. I really, I laugh back at it now, but I was legit scared the first time that happened. And
You thought you were there alone, but you never really knew if you actually were there alone with all the sounds.
The radiators and boilers decided to make an extraordinary amount of noise that day, like more than normal. And it was actually to the point where I was really afraid that something may be wrong with them and was questioning whether I should call somebody or evacuate the building.
I was definitely one of those people where every time I had to be at the alumni house alone, I would always make a mad dash to the building or to my car. I never had any specific scary encounters, but I'm just a baby and I hated being alone there.
The biggest thing that sticks out to me is the alumni house and the centipedes.
All the centipedes, it was great walking out of the radio room after doing a forecast.
There were so many centipedes and they were so huge.
And finding 2 more up on that high ceiling above you that I just throw magazines up there to try to knock them down so they at least wouldn't fall on me.
It was really distracting and terrifying. They were so huge.
Besides probably cleaning off all the spiders away from our back door. That one not so great, but...
Was the time that a group of us went on the Lake Express into the front of the boat in the captain's area. And that was really neat to see the setup that the captain has. Unfortunately, though, I did get motion sickness, so besides that, it was a lot of fun.
Just doing the radio hits, specifically Oh the Places You'll Go. That book is going to have a special place for me because I've read it 100 times in my training and my practice before doing radio hits.
To be on the radio and on the same radio station as my dad was, that meant the world to me. I was so proud of that. I know my dad was super proud of it as well. It was great to hear, from family and friends, like, hey, was that you? And I was like, yeah, that was me. And
I was in Milwaukee at a bar, and the bartender asked for my ID, and he looks at it and says, wait, you're Austin Harris, like the meteorologist Austin Harris from the radio? And I'm like, yeah? And it was really weird and uncomfortable. He didn't buy my drink, but he was telling me about how much he loved Innovative Weather and how he listened to us every morning and how much of how we were really a part of his life. And I thought that was really fun and interesting and special, but also made me extraordinarily uncomfortable and confirmed that I could never, ever be on TV.
Mornings when it was calm and beautiful, through the overnight shift, it was always awesome to go and find either a spot in the alumni house where there was a good view of the lake, or go outside and take a good view of the lake and get a very, very beautiful sunrise over the lake.
Thinking through this question brings to mind so many what I'll call Mike-isms, the little sayings that Mike has collected over the years that you hear in different contexts, but every which one of them has immense value. I would ultimately have to say that it's culture enables or inhibits your vision. If you nurture a caring and supportive culture, everything else falls into place.
the importance of culture. That's something we talked a lot about. Culture is a big deal.
I've found that wherever I go in my career now, I look for organizations and people and places that really value mentorship and the development of early career scientists and just employees in general.
The maturity I gained. I felt like I was very immature when I started in my internship with Innovative Weather, but kind of came at me quick what kind of skill sets, how I need to act as a professional.
The other big thing that I took out of Innovative Weather was email etiquette. Emailing is a huge thing, and I still use it. Everyone still uses it today, and the biggest thing that I took out of that was to double check and reread before sending off a message.
Oh, yes. Credibility is like a currency. You spend it and you earn it.
My favorite one still is credibility is a currency.
I think about that a lot, and I've used it just in my life, with my own kids.
An Innovative Weather value that I took with me into my career is servant leadership.
He always really pushed that sentence, that value of confident enough to lead, humble enough to learn. I talk about that all the time.
I think something I'll take with me from IW as I now move forward in my job search is going to definitely be the theme of servant leadership.
It's the patience that everyone gave me when I was just starting off as a meteorologist. I felt like no question would be deemed a dumb question, which I appreciated.
Failing forward is a mindset that emphasizes the importance of learning from failures and using them as stepping stones towards success.
It helped me to have perspective of like how my own emotions can affect those around me. If I'm stressed, if I'm angry, if I'm super excited, how that affects others.
One of the big things that I learned at IW is that weather is tough and it humbles you, and forecasting is tough, right? Predicting the future is not an easy thing to do. So it's nice to continue to be knocked down in my career from time to time as my forecast busts, but just get back up.
I'd say an Innovative Weather value that I really took into my career is emphasizing probability versus possibility. I remember Mike talking about this over and over again, and it really applied greatly in my weather broadcasting career, but also still today in my various corporate roles.
One other piece that I still use in my career to this day was what Mike taught about explaining probabilities to customers when customers want a deterministic forecast. And that's really explaining what is probable and what is possible.
Innovative Weather really focused on the communication.
A value that I've taken into my career is just, communicating the uncertainty.
Being able to take that science and make it usable to the community and to the end user.
Being able to take a complex weather forecast and communicate it to the clients how they needed to be communicated to, so it was like more in layman's terms.
It feels a little bit silly as a 19, 20-year-old kid, reading Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or Clifford the Big Red Dog over and over and over again. But, being able to build that diction and making sure that you're understandable to a live audience was invaluable.
The senior captain was just stopping in to ask me if I'd looked at the weather, and I said, well, I don't know, call Innovative. And I said, oh, wait, we can't call Innovative anymore. So
we said we want to create value for the university, we do, but we want to recreate it for the student by working with real partners, not clients, real partners. And if we did those three things, the community would benefit. And for 17 years, the students coming in have never lost sight of that vision. The leaders have never lost sight of that. And it's one of the rare, opportunities. It's sad that we have to close, but we're closing on our terms with the way that we started.
It was truly my pleasure. And I got definitely rewarded out of it to see those kids grow. And every time, every class, there was always somebody that you could see from the beginning to the end, the growth and the confidence, and that made me and my team feel good about what they were doing.
Everyone who's been part of the program for the university should be very proud of what you've done for, at least for MMSD, I'm sure for the other companies as well, but it's been a lifesaver for us.
Thank you to all of everybody that allowed for that partnership to be what it was. In my time with the Brewers there, it really was made my experience and my ability to manage the surface there probably the best it could have been.
The vast majority of the people we interacted with through Innovative Weather were a credit to the university and the program, and I certainly wish it was going to be able to continue, but we are not the better for you not being able to offer us forecasting.
Just that I appreciate all the hard work that they've put into all of this. I know that if you're a student in that position, that's not easy. So I appreciate the difficulty I put them in, and they all made it through it. So kudos to all those guys, to everybody.
We wouldn't be here, we would have been gone 2 or 3 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, if we didn't have the degree of excited, ambitious, committed students. And that carries to the servant leadership that we've seen them really embody, and now to the alumni that are all over the place, that are willing to guide the current students and be mentors and be stewards of that culture. I can't be grateful enough.
I think, with my deepest appreciation, the faculty, staff, and students who've been part of Innovative Weather for a generation, and what they've done with intelligence, warmth, compassion, with the right values all the time. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and bring positive elements.
It's the thing I'm most proud of about Innovative Weather and how this all came to be and how we got to here, is that we're finishing the way we promised to start. That first group that said, we'll do it, I'm looking at some of these kids right here who are carrying that same intense desire to do this well with the same mission mindset. Very few companies get to end that way, and we do.
It's been great that we've had it. I'm quite sad that we aren't able to continue it beyond this time frame, but we've left, I think, a lasting legacy for the students who've participated in it and for the partners who've worked with us over the years. I think they all understand what we've accomplished here. Even the Chancellor knows very well the kinds of things that we've done. And I think under a different environment, we might be continuing, but we can't. So that's the sad part about it, but the good part about it is what we were able to accomplish during the time we were here.